It's London Marathon ballot week, and yes people, you're probably not going to get a place, but if you do, or if you do not, and then you end up getting a charity place, you need to watch this video. So while I go and do this 10-mile race that I'm here to do in Hertfordshire, I want you to watch the next part of this video, which is filmed in the studio, because there's some amazing tips and hints in here if you've managed to get yourself a ballot place, or if you're then going to pick a charity place for the London Marathon. Right, over to the studio. I'm off for a 10-mile run.
So you got yourself a place in the marathon, but now what? Well, don't worry. In this video, I'm going to talk you through everything you need to know on what to do next. Welcome everybody to the world of FORDY runs. Are you new around here? Let me know in the comments. Maybe this is your first time because you've got that place in the marathon. You're thinking, what the hell am I going to do now? Well, you've come to the right place, but make sure you subscribe before you leave me today. Hit that subscribe button and then that notification button, and you'll get a little reminder every time that we post a video, and particularly when we do our live streams on the Friday here in the UK. And if you miss those, you can download those and listen to those as a podcast, a long run podcast. Check that out. Right, so you've got a marathon place. Now what the hell are you going to do? Well, in this video, like I said at the start, I'm going to help you out. So sit back and relax, get yourself a pen, and we're going to go through some of the bits and bobs that have helped me in the past when I got my marathon place. Okay, people, the first thing you need to do, and it's the most important, is just relax. Just chill out. Marathon is a big deal, right? There's not many people who've done them in the world. It is a big, big deal. I appreciate that. And you're probably now panicking, thinking, what the hell am I going to do? Which is why you're watching this video. But the biggest thing to do, honestly, is just relax. Breathe, smile, think to yourself it's going to be okay, because it is. Honestly, it's going to be absolutely fine. You're going to cross that line. No matter what happens, you will cross that line. So don't worry about it. But just first things first, breathe and relax. Right, actually, before we get into the rest of the video, just a shout out. If you didn't get a marathon place, go and get a charity place. There's loads of good charities out there that need money. Go and find one that you've got the cause resonates with you, and contact them and try and get yourself a marathon place via a charity, because the money you raise will be essential to those charities. Okay, right, so now you've breathed and you're back to life. The first thing I'd recommend you do is get yourself a training plan. Now, you can get those online. There's stuff on, like, for example, the London Marathon website. There's some old Lucasade ones I think people have used. There's like Hal Higdon. There's loads of free, I don't know whether Hal Higdon you have to pay for, by the way, but there's loads of free training plans out there. The only thing I would say to you is try and get one that's been written by someone who's qualified. Because there's plans out there that people have done that are by people who aren't qualified. So just be wary of that. If you want a tailored training plan, which is personally what I'd recommend as a coach myself, I would recommend you get a tailored plan. We offer them at FORDY Runs. You can go and buy, you can buy some of our plans, by the way, online. It's not an advert, but you can get some of our plans. You can purchase them if you want. And they're plans that I've used and people I coach have used. But also, my personal recommendation obviously is to get a tailored plan, because it can fit around you. We understand the runner, understand the runner's needs, understand the goals, understand the aspirations. We look at your background and where you're at now and all that kind of stuff, and factor all that in and build you a plan around that. So that's the perfect way to go, but I appreciate that not everybody's got the money, and you're going to be taking on the marathon, and it can be quite expensive because you've got to get some kit and stuff like that. We'll come on to that. So you might not be able to afford to get a training plan tailored towards you. But that's the case, go online, but just double check that it's one that suits you. And remember, it's only a training plan. It's not the law. So, you know, move stuff around to fit into your life. But so the second most important thing I would say after you've breathed and relaxed is to get yourself a training plan. Now, next up, and actually it kind of refers to the second point I made, which was not one of the points anyway, is to maybe run for a charity. Why? Firstly, the charities need the money, but also extra motivation. It's a real positive when you're in the middle of like your marathon training, week 10, and it's like really grinding you down. Remembering why you're doing it, it can be powerful. The good thing is as well, if you're under pressure, you feel under pressure when you get a charity place, you've got to raise X, Y, and Z amount of money. When you get a ballot place, or you choose to raise for a charity, it's on your terms, so you raise what you want to raise. So, but personally, I would always recommend trying to pick a charity and raise some money for a charity. It will just give you that extra edge in terms of motivation. Right, next tip is to find a local running club. Obviously, FORDY Runs is a running club, and we've got clubs up and down the country. We've also got our Facebook community, which I'd recommend you join. Links in the description, and you'll get support there as well. But I think by joining our local running group, you'll find other people who are probably running and training for the marathon, and that can be great as in terms of support network. If you're on the Facebook group like ours, you can then obviously fire questions in and stuff like that, which is also helpful in terms of support and just, yeah, help during the process. But join that local running club, you know, getting along to a weekly session, whether it just be a social run, can help you talk through stuff, but also help in terms of your training. It just, yeah, it just overall, I think it enhances the experience of that marathon training block. Okay, next up, the important bit and the expensive bit, get kitted out. Shoes, you're gonna need some training shoes. Now, I would recommend personally, if you can afford it, getting 2 pairs of shoes. So you can rotate through. Now, they don't need to be something flashy with a carbon plate. You want to go to a decent running store or something like ASICS where they don't charge you, and get your gait analysed. Check out, I've done a video on it, and find out which shoes you need, and then go and get yourself 1 or 2 pairs. Personally, I would get something that's comfortable and you know that you can just do miles in it, and then I would get something maybe a little bit quicker, or even start thinking about something for race day. But try and get 2 shoes that you can rotate through. There's other gear that you're going to need, and I'm going to do a video about sort of marathon training essentials, so make sure you check out them. There are some videos already on the channel about stuff that you can probably need for marathon training, so check those videos out. But I will be doing a video about all the kit and stuff that you need. But the most important thing, I think, is get your gait analysed and get yourself a decent pair of running shoes. Next up is looking at your diet. Look at what you're taking in and hydrating. Look, it's really important to make sure you are hydrating, that you are eating well. It's obvious stuff, but people still try and, you know, out-train a bad diet. And it's the worst thing you could do. So look at what you're getting, look at when you're eating, look what you're putting in, you know, post-run, pre-run, all that kind of stuff. I mean, I'm not a qualified nutritionist, so I'm probably the worst person to give advice on this, but making sure you've got a balanced diet for marathon training is essential, because you will hit your immune system quite hard with the training. So just make sure that you are eating and drinking the right things. Next up is listen to advice from others, but take something with a pinch of salt. Now, what do I mean? There's people out there who are going to tell you how to do everything, and there are going to be people out there saying that they're doing 20 miles in week 2, and there's people out there who are doing, you know, 5 speed sessions a week. So take everything in terms of information in, but don't necessarily do what others are doing. Process it, take advice from people, experienced people, qualified people, for example myself. And again, I'm not always right, okay? But take advice from people who know what they're talking about, but also don't listen and get caught up in what other people are doing. That's the sort of key message I want to give on this point, because you do panic and worry, oh, so-and-so's done 15 miles this weekend. So what? Get your plan, stick to your plan, understand your plan, but if you do need help, just ask. 2 things left, I think, to focus on now you've got this marathon in place. Firstly, don't worry about what's going on in, I don't know, whatever date your marathon is. Forget about that. Just focus on the steps I've spoken about. Get your plan, get your shoes, get out there, start running. Don't focus on the end goal just yet. It'll consume you, and it's just a massive waste of energy. Don't focus on, oh God, I've got to run 26.2 miles. Forget about it. Just focus on what you can control. Get everything into place and just go through the process. And the last thing you need to do, and this is the most important thing, is enjoy it. Marathon training, right, a little tip, is bleeding hard. It is gruesome. It's so painful just to sometimes get motivated to get out the door, because you're on your 4th run of the week, your legs are hurting, and you just, yeah, it's awful. But there are parts and moments when it's just incredible, when you're out there and you're running and it's amazing, and you can feel everything starting to click into place, and you're ticking over, and it feels awesome. You can feel the speed coming into your legs and all that kind of stuff. Doing a marathon is a hard thing, right? It's a very, very hard thing. That's why not many people do it. But you're going to do it, and you're going to complete it, and you're going to do it with a smile on your face. But you've got to enjoy the process, learn what you're doing, and just go through the motions. Don't get caught up in negative stuff that you don't need. I say, you know, about getting rid of some of the baggage. You know, lose all the concerns and worries that don't really concern what you're doing. Just focus in on enjoying the process and getting to that end goal of completing that marathon. So that's it, guys. Good luck. Good luck. Let me know in the comments which marathon you're going to be doing, if it's London or whatever. let me know in the comments. But whatever happens, as I said in the last point, just enjoy it. You know, life's too short. We get one life, people. So just enjoy it, have fun, and do something awesome.